Hey guys, welcome back to another Minecraft video. This is probably going to be a bit of a shorter video because I'm just going to spend the night, which is just so happens to be that it just came about and approached. I'm going to be spending this night just getting experience because I need it. Because I'm not just going to make more diamond tools, but going to, enchant them. But I also don't really want to use any of them until I have all of them, because then I'd probably end up breaking one of them, at least, before I manage to, enchant everything. So, you're gonna see me wielding the iron sword, and, wearing the iron armor for quite a while, I'd say. And also probably getting a lot more use out of my bow, because, it's not a good bow. It's pretty shit, actually, but it's, better than, it does more damage than the sword, so. Until this bow breaks, I'm probably gonna get a lot of use out of it. And if it breaks, I don't really care. Bows aren't real cheap to make, so. Come on. I mean, I suppose I'd had to travel up, so I'd be fighting against gravity, but come on. I didn't look at you. Well, not for long enough to trigger you. They really need to fix the sound cues on that. I don't like that. That's risky. Okay. Despawn then, I suppose. That's kind of risky. I don't like doing that. I'd rather pick at least the creepers from a distance. Right. You just... Well... You almost ended up using your brain there. They really need to buff these beacons. They're not worth it. Like, I practically have to be standing right next to it to get the effects from it. Kind of defeats the point. The whole point of the beacon is that it gives you a status effect in an area. And when there's no real area, then there's no point having the goddamn beacon. It's not actually providing the effect so you can use it. It's not really in a usable area. It's too small. Like, I'm maybe 20 blocks away from it, and I'm only just getting the effects. So, like, I'm at the very border of it. And that's not very useful, right? Like, I'm not gonna... It's a pain in the ass to, to pack it up and move it somewhere else, right? Part of what would make the beacon useful is being able to sort of just put it out of the way and still getting use out of it, right? So, I don't know. They should probably do something to buff that. Okay. he sucked. Hey! Probably make use out of the stacks upon stacks upon stacks of gunpowder that I have, but... I don't... I still have never really needed to blow anything up in this world, so... Till then, I'm just gonna... Make sure there's nothing behind me. There's a lot of... There's a lot. Okay, hold on. Just, stay over there for a sec, or don't. Whatever. I can take a hit or two. Yeah, alright. Especially when you all hit each other. Makes it a lot easier for me. Ooh, I did not like that. Not on top of my very carefully constructed roads. Thank you very much. Alright. You have a shit ton of armor on, dude. That took so many hits. And now you're burning to death. Idiot. Now there's a few things over here, so let's shoot you. Okay. I mean, I think that's about everything in the area. All right. Now it's raining. Okay. Well, let's take a couple of iron ingots so I can make another spare sword. Okay. And well, I suppose I can hang on to the dirt. 'Cause I could use it to patch up some holes in the ground. Just take those arrows. Yeah. How much gunpowder do I even have? A lot. It's a lot of gunpowder. I also have a veritable amount of TNT already in my chest. So if I ever need to blow something up, I definitely have a lot of firepower to do so. Just patch up this hole best I can. Alright, let's get over here. And get some use out of the grinder. I'm doing big air quotes right now because at this point there is not much that is to be ground. Because it only kind of half works now because there's a spider spawner, and therefore it's possible for skeletons to be spawning on top of the spiders. And right now I don't exactly have a way of preventing myself from dying to that. So I can't AFK while using this because, yeah, because while the spiders can't attack me, the skeletons can. Right, and there's like a safe distance like here-ish, right? And while the spiders can't get me, the skeletons are able to angle their arrows down enough to where that kills me. Therefore, there's not really that much safety in this mob grinder anymore. I can't exactly just AFK here, like, overnight, or whatever. I have to actually... I really appreciate it if you stopped killing yourself before I can kill you. Yeah. Made this out of soul sand because they have trouble climbing soul sand, but you know, it's definitely not impossible for them. If I give them enough knockback, they still manage to get up anyways. So, like, it half works. I have to be mindful of, like, how much damage I'm taking and how much damage I'm taking while operating the grinder, among other things. Yeah, as you can see, once I knock them past this line here, they just climb back up again. Because the reason why they can't climb the soul sand is because when you're walking on the soul sand, your feet slightly sink into it. That's why you can't really walk up against, like, you can't use soul sand to create a definite bridge over lava, because your feet are partially submerged into the lava already just by standing on the edge of the soul sand. Therefore, I don't know where I'm going with this, but point being is that because they sink into here, right? They're not level with the block, but they also can't climb the one below it because obviously their AI wouldn't let them do that. So I have to knock them up like around here-ish for them to get a grip on anything. Alright, well, as much as I'd like to use the grinder, I need to get food, so... Let's see. Just checking to see I don't have any food in there already that I can just cook. Wheat's not fully grown yet, so I can't exactly use it to make bread, which means I have to go hunting. These sheep don't make for really good food, so... Gotta do a little bit of scouting and hope that I find something to eat. You'll do okay. Little pig. Could have made this easier by getting a flint and steel so I can light them on fire and then kill them, which would, you know, give me cooked meat right off the bat, but whatever. I don't suppose there's any more pigs. Doesn't really look like it. Alright, let's head back, because, well, I mean, nighttime's approaching, and I would like to be home and cooking food, as opposed to out here and probably getting killed. So... I do maybe wish a little bit that there were more natural threats during the night, other than, oh, look, zombies! Because, you know, obviously that's kind of unrealistic, and, you know, that's the point, but I don't know, it just might be an interesting bone to throw. If, I don't know. If, like, actual animals, or, like, nocturnal animals, animals that have their natural hunting time be at night, or to come out. Now I can cook some food. I'm gonna be out as much as I can to get to 30 levels of experience, so I can safely say that I'm done with this video and I can move on with my life, because I'm hungry and I want to eat my lunch. That got way too close. Okay. Kill you. I do not like it when these guys are on the fucking road. I do wish zombies spawned in higher quantities, because I feel like, I don't know, because they're very weak on their own, I think part of what would make them a more daunting threat is, like, even on your first night, a zombie is nothing. I think what would make them more threatening is if there were just a lot of them, right? Because then they would be able to surround you very easily. And I feel like because they're so weak on their own, their strength is when there's a lot of them, right? Because if there's a lot of them, then it doesn't really matter that they're weak on their own, because all of them hitting you at once would still be quite threatening. Right? And so the challenge, I feel like, would become a little more varied. And that you have to actually manage your space, right? And try to force them apart. I feel like that'd be more interesting, because as of right now, it just feels like it's kind of fodder. I mean, in Halo, for example, like, the grunts are very fodder enemy, but they're still threatening because they have generally pretty high damage output, right? So if you leave them be, then chances are you're gonna manage to get a quite substantial amount of damage in, and then, you know, the big guys can come in and finish you off because they're all aggressive, right? I feel like there could be some more strategy within this game's combat system. And it's just not really happening, you know? I don't know. I feel like just tweaking the role zombies have in combat would make them a lot more threatening. I don't know. Ugh. There's a hole I need to repair. I don't know. I just pay a lot of attention to, like, encounter design in games. So trying to vary that encounter. Trying to vary encounters, like the sort of roles that things play in the encounters, can really add a lot to how it can really add a lot to both how fun the game is and also how difficult it can be. Like, if you played a first Doom game, right? Just like the original Doom. Then you're probably very familiar with two enemy types in particular, the imps and the pinkies. Now, if I were to ask you, like, which encounters more difficult, a pair of pinkies and a pair of imps, or 30 imps, you'd probably say a pair of pinkies and a pair of imps. But why? Right? And it's not because, you know, the average damage output of a pair of pinkies and a pair of imps is higher than 30 imps, nor is it because well, no, that's really the only reason. But you might think that because of their high damage output, they don't really pose a relatively low damage output, rather, and low average health, that the two pinkies and two imps wouldn't necessarily be that threatening of a combat encounter. But it's not because of what they do that it is a threatening. Well, no. Let me rephrase. It's not because of how much potential they each have collectively to kill you, just statistically speaking, that makes them threatening. It's because they have different ways of killing you. Right? The pinkies, the whole thing about the pinkies is that their strength is in cornering you. So, in cornering you and keeping you in place, taking up all your space, suddenly the imps have a lot easier of a time attacking you, right? Because you're hardly moving, so it's really easy for the enemy with a slow-moving projectile but high damage output to get a hit on you when you're hardly able to move around and dodge their projectiles, right? So a lot harder to deal with that encounter than just like 30 imps chucked at the player, because 30 imps chucked at the player, sure, a lot of high damage projectiles moving at you, but at the end of the day, they're all aiming at the same spot, so you just move like 5 feet to the left and suddenly none of them hit you, right? Oh. I'm just trying to logic out some counter design. And sort of like what, at its base level, would make a more difficult and interesting challenge. Okay, I can live with this sword, I suppose. Yeah. Okay. I'll throw it in here. Let's just move all these up. There you go. Alright. Well, that being said, I think I've played enough in this video. So, thank you all so much for watching. Really do appreciate it, and I hope you enjoyed. And I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye.